Hello, I'm Patricia McNeely from Twin Flame Body. How are you today? Today I want to talk to you about, as we're approaching this next change here of what people are calling the shift that I call the split. It's scaring a lot of people. Please stop the fear mongering. Please stop saying that people are falling into a black hole. That is absolutely so not true, and it's scaring people. So let's talk about what is happening, what is really happening, okay? First of all, yes, for a lot of people, there are sudden and abrupt departures. This is on purpose. That means that you are parting ways with things. It's going to happen very quickly. If you have been doing my body work, you will find that you're having rapid turnarounds on certain things, that you are actually feeling much more of the masculine support than you probably have been able to feel for a long time, if you need that, or the feminine support than you've been able to feel in a long time. You're also getting you back to you, and that's super important because so many times you've like given out and given out, and it's not just now. And we have to call things what they are. So I'm going to just say it, that some of the ancestral stuff, it's not just ancestry. It's stuff that you've been subjected to. It's stuff you might have done. It's stuff that maybe you and your other half participated in because that's just the way it was. But those timelines are very rapidly closing. That's the part that scares people, is because they're having sensations like doors closing, windows closing, or doors opening. The doors opening are really good ones. So what do you do in this energy? You have to pay attention to you. Some people can't do that because they've been out of touch of it for a while. And this is why you need to get your head out of the fluff, out of the conspiracy theories, or you need to help your true other half get their head out of it, get out of the, sex, drugs, rock and roll, or get out of business mode, or get out of family mode, or get out of the idea that being off the grid completely and just leaving that way is going to be a solution. And then you're waiting for them to get tired of van living for, you're just tired of it, but you're waiting an extra year for that to be done. And, there's a little bit of wiggle room, but not a lot. It's narrowing. Okay. In fact, the ship is sailing. The ship is sailing. So listen, these are some of the cockamamie stories I've heard out there. You're going to step into a black hole and fall. No, you won't. The ground is still solid beneath your feet. If you are grounding yourself in the wrong way, you're going to feel it. Why are you grounding yourself in the wrong way? That's stuff that sometimes people don't understand, is the old ways, they're really not going to cut it for 2021. You also have to not only integrate, pull back, pull up. I can't emphasize this enough because it sounds like I'm scolding people. I had someone write and say, you sound condescending. What if I never said it though? Huh? What about that? You want me to sugarcoat everything and tell you like purging is so pretty, it's fun. It tastes like Kool-Aid back on the way up. No, it's icky. You want the vomit off your shoes. You don't want to walk around with it, do you? Stand back. And if this is happening around you with people, how do you get to that detached compassion level that you need just so you can be around people? Like, how are we all going to go back to work and be amongst people? It happens by you elevating into the level that you are. And if you're grounding yourself the wrong way, that's not grounding. That's just going to keep you tumbling about and wondering what's happening and why other people seem to, be going and you're not. Okay. This is where the rubber meets the road. This is where it's time to tough through your ascension and deal with what you have to deal with. So no more vague things, because it's different for everyone. For some of you, it really is going to be time next year to finally move. For some of you, it's going to finally be time to get that divorce. For some of you, it's finally going to be time to start being cheated on, emotionally, spiritually, being cheated on romantically, which isn't romance whatsoever. For some of you, it's going to be time to stop living a soap opera and actually live your life. For some of you, it will feel like you really want to get out of hermit mode, okay? But how you do that is by the integration of your high heart connections. So again, pay attention to you. Where are you at? Because the way to prod your other half isn't through a conversation or a text or anything like that. In fact, it just doesn't work. It really falls flat, and you will feel very suddenly that you have parted ways because you may not even be talking to someone who gets it with their head, okay? What happens when you feel like you're trying to go and they grab you back, or a situation grabs you back, or someone is grabbing you back? You need to focus on where those connections really are. What if you feel all agitated and nervous and you keep having anxiety and you're up, down, and the anxiety is putting you on meds? It's making you feel like you don't even want to be around people. I help people with that. I help you get off the Lexapro and all of the other stuff under the care and supervision of whoever gave it to you in the first place. What if your way of handling it is, the street recreational stuff? Okay, your soul's going to want you to part ways with that stuff at some point. Now, most people, if you overdrink, if you overdrug, if you're over socializing, you're going to feel it and you're going to know it in your heart. But being in denial is not helping matters. And again, sudden abrupt departures. If your soul doesn't want you to stay tangled up, you will get the nudge. If your soul doesn't want you tangled up with someone, they get nudged away and you got to deal with it, no matter how, you thought it might go. So the things that have been up in the air about how you think this is going and when it settles down, and the things of how it actually plays out, what you have to do, how do you transform, it's all about your body. It's about your twin flame body, okay? Twin flame body. So what is your level of health? Health is a very important thing. And just like I covered in my class that I just finished, your heart health is supremely important. You have to be able to strengthen. And that means building up endurance. That means building up stamina. What if you're not healthy to begin with? Well, that's between you and your soul. If you have a chronic condition, some of those can now be alleviated through my work. In fact, I am accepting donations to collect, to help people who I can work with them, because sometimes they just cannot work a regular job. Sometimes they are just, flat out of everything and the resources just aren't there. So if you care to make a donation and be someone's angel, please do so. What is your level of health? Not just your emotional health. So look, we've been working a lot on our intelligence over the past century, like we have, created rocket ships and cell phones and all of that. But if you ever talk to someone who's maybe, in their 50s, 70s, 80s, ask them if they ever had a heart-to-heart conversation with their boss. You know what kind of response you'll get? You'll get, "Are you kidding me?" That's a luxury that your generation can afford. We couldn't afford that then. Yeah, because of the emotions, because everyone's gotten afraid of each other's emotions. It was not appropriate at that time. You just sucked it up and you took it and you did it. And this is some of what you have to do with your ascension. And, there are more dark nights of the soul coming up for people. Do you feel desolate? Are you feeling aspects of impending doom? Are you feeling your existential crisis? Did some energy abruptly leave you and you're standing there gawking, understanding that somehow something happened, and yet it is leaving you feeling completely like you're standing in stagnant water? Do you need something to get under your sails to get things moving for you? Yeah, that's what I help people with. It's an internal transformation process, but it involves the higher subtle bodies of yourself, because without engaging that, you can't do it with just the mind. The mind isn't sufficient for that. You need your divine connections for it. You need a new foundation, and this has to be your way of life until your channels are open and your new chakras are in place. So while we've been talking about a timeline split, which is happening, let me clarify further. Do you know what that means? That means that timelines that people have dreamed up, like World War III, non-existent. You're not on that timeline. Are people still, getting violent with each other? Of course they are. But it is not a worldwide conflagration. Conflict. Conflagration means like flare up, like poof, everything's exploding. There is not a worldwide conflict. There is worldwide stress and distress and upheavals. Yes, there is, because we all got to learn to get along a little better, but it starts with you. What happens if you are better? What happens if you feel like you're loved? What happens if you feel some romantic love and intimacy through right directly to you, that's private and special and gets you, because it's a part of you, and in fact it's you. It's the other you up here. It's not another you that you might imagine is tripping around with stuff that you could scratch your head and say, are we ever going to get rid of that? When are they going to let that go? Don't even bother with it. Focus on you. I help you get focused on you so that the good stuff starts happening. So get on the bridge, get on the living bridge. And I'll tell you, this is how my dream has been, because I was seeing it just from a week ago. And I was saying already that when we approach November 1st, this is a traditional time when the veils are thinned. But let's put it this way. There has been a collective heightening in vibration, let's say, okay? In fact, some people who are talking doom and gloom down better, honestly, you should know better. You should be really knocking that off. No more fear mongering, because you're scaring people. You're scaring people who can't see up into here. And in fact, I'm going to call you out. You can't see up into here. But what happens when you get here is you start seeing the real future. You start seeing how it really is. You start being able to play in the energies and create what it is you want. Yes, there's a little bit of fear of the unknown. The masculine hasn't left. The masculine is actually departed so that he can come into himself. Okay? But that is sometimes felt as a very sudden, abrupt departure. So get on the bridge, because what happens here? There's something so simple. And this is the way I was seeing it. It's like a footbridge from one level to another over some moving water. And it's that simple. It's not a black hole. It's not a crevice. It's not, one of those things when you're mountain climbing and you slip and like they can't get you out, or like that film where the guy fell and there he was in the bottom and, he's trying to survive for days on end. If you subscribe to that kind of stuff, all of that conspiracy fears, the Galactic Federation is going to come. Those things existed in a timeline that doesn't even have any bearing on right now. Because right now, we actually need the people who are becoming the human angelics again. And I know that there's a lot of people that you start to feel that. What are some angelic traits? Well, just your senses. You have more than your human senses. That's number one. You have a sensitivity about you, and you have a deep intuitiveness. Okay. Now, your gifts are designed for you to thrive in something that you can really thrive at, not to be like all the other kids on the playground. Okay. Not so if you need to, feel that part of getting to your real mission is pay attention to you, start getting your new foundation, get on the bridge, and rise to a high heart chakra level. High heart chakras don't exist down in the nether regions of your body. Those nether regions are actually just for eliminating the waste of your body. And, you know, there's other things that are upgrading so that you can have more pleasurable experiences. Okay. So there's parts of you that you may not even understand. And I didn't understand it at first, but I have all the diagrams in my classes. I have great, simple ways for you to ease out of the old paradigm. All of this, sudden abrupt departures, you are leaving the fourth dimension. You are leaving the astral plane. You're leaving the astral plane that has the boogeyman. I mean, we're in Halloween season right now. All of the Day of the Dead stuff, all of the boogeyman, all of the costumes and the masks, it's all applicable right now. But come next month, that is actually part of the flipping of the switch here. The switch is being flipped, and some people are going to stay where they are. They are in God's parking lot, okay? It's not that nothing has happened, but which area do you want to be on? Do you want to get on the bridge? Get on the bridge of the living, because you will still live here, but you also have to be multidimensional. Don't forget about that. Be who you came here to be. Be the lover. Don't let people talk you out of being romantic. This is all about romance. If you attended my relationships class, I gave you a heck of a lot of ideas on how to evoke this, how to really re-experience it. And I mean really experience it. And magical things happen. Do you know what one woman told me? She said flowers were delivered to her house, and the delivery man absolutely insisted they were for her, even though she said, I don't know who would have sent these to me. I don't know why. She finally had to just accept the flowers and sort of accept that there was something etheric that happened that made somebody just give her flowers and remind her of the romantic nature of love. The nature of love is to be persistent, is to help, is to heal, is to love, is to touch. How many of you are missing real touch? How many of you actually feel like you've been hanging on for 10 years? I mean, someone wrote and said, like, I've been doing this for 7 months. Try doing it for 20 or 30 years, like some people. But the pain is the same. It doesn't matter if the pain is from 7 months of, you know, focusing on the wrong things, or whether it's from, waiting while things are at the point that they can be shifted. Okay. And only when I talk to you and get to know you or know in the classes that I have, can I be able to help you shift the energies where they are conducive to drawing you where you need to be, to focusing on the essence of who you are, and to be the human angelic lover of all time that you're supposed to be. Do you know what it feels like? Well, you're going to watch my neck heal. Okay, it's already gone down, because what was better than just getting a kiss to heal? When you get that etheric kiss and you feel it all light you up and light up, there's nothing like it, because that's the thing that comes from the miracle level, and miracles will happen. So please join. The links are below. Please reach out with your questions. Thank you.